Oh, I got soaked. Full trigger.
Welcome back to the channel, you guys. Welcome back to Ironclad RC. Got the long-awaited and highly anticipated water bobber build on the block. This is a fiberglass mono hybrid catamaran style hull. Okay, it's fiberglass, all fiberglass. Very nice boat hull. Okay, we're going to start the build today. Going to be installing the motor, the stuffing tube, and the strut in this video. Okay, the next part of the series, we'll do the servo linkage and all that good stuff. Okay, we're going to be running the boat on 3S 70 amp ESC. So stick around. Big B with Ironclad RC. Oh, we got her, son. Get in there. Oh, we flipped it over. This is a water bobber inboard sport boat by Josh Colt. His company name is deadaheadrc. There will be a link in the description for the boat haul. He's got a couple other boat hauls available. If you guys are interested, hit him up. Going to be running this inline rudder strut combo. Okay, the boat's going to be basically tuned like a catamaran, all right, with weight distribution and strut adjustments. Okay, the motor's going to be mounted like mid boat, all right, and you could put trim tabs or turn fins on the boat. It's optional. Okay, like I said, you could put the turn fin and the trim tab on the boat. There's actually plenty of room back here for a little trim tab and turn fin. Okay, that would aid the boat in a turn, and you could trim the boat out with the trim tabs. But to be honest with you, I really don't think the boat's gonna need it. Okay, we're running this inline rudder and strut on the boat. Okay, and you know, I'm using a light motor. I'm gonna try to keep the boat as light as I can. So we're actually going to use the strut positioning on the boat and weight distribution, the battery weight distribution, to actually tune the boat. Okay, I think it's going to be a fun boat to run and tune. All right, the build process should be fairly straightforward because we don't have to deal with a bunch of turn fins and trim tabs. Basically, all we got to do is mount the rudder, hook up the servo and steering, and run the stuffing tube and cable. Okay, it should be fairly straightforward. All right, so let's get to it. You know, I was going to run this 3650 on 4S. It'll take it with no problem, with no issue, okay? But it would have been too heavy for this little 19-inch boat, you know? So I ordered this 2958. Okay, I was going to run the 2968. All right, I got a 2960 here that I was going to run in the boat. But, you know, this 2958, it's actually going to be perfect. 3380 kV or whatnot. It's going to be perfect for the boat. So what I'm going to do, what I like to do when I build a boat, I like to mount my motor first thing. Okay, I'm just going to mount my motor where I want it, dead center in the boat. And when I drill my hole out for my stuffing tube, I use my motor, my collet, to actually, you know, line my stuffing tube up with the motor. Dead center, dead nut center. Okay, so I'm going to mark out where I'm going to put my mount. Okay, and what I'm going to do is mix up a little bit of this epoxy, just a little bit, to put on the bottom of my mounting tabs on this motor mount, and just tack it into place. I put this little piece of foam in there to put some pressure on those forward tabs, okay, keep my motor, you know, pushed down so it gets a good bond. What I like to do after I mounted my motor, I like to look at the boat every direction, make sure she's lined up with the keel. I look at it this way, I'll turn it around. If you can look at it that way, in line with the keel, look at it every which way possible. Make sure she's dead nuts in line. This is the last freaking chance you get. Okay, so make sure she's lined up. All right. So now let's work on this little mounting plate for the strut. All right. So I cut this block out. All right, and what that's going to do is actually extend the strut off the transom a little bit so I can get more adjustability on my strut. But the angle on the back of the boat, okay, it's going to have, like I said, my rudder's going to be canted forward like that, and I don't want that. You basically want your rudder to be hanging off the transom, you know, in line with the bottom of the boat, okay? And as it sits now, it's not going to be in line. So I actually found a piece of cutting board that I've used for parts before, and it's actually a little thicker. Okay, so I'm actually going to use this, and I'm going to plane my angle out on this piece of cutting board. Okay, so I need to figure out how I want to get it set up here. Probably like clamp it onto the table here, and work this, you know, down so I can get the correct angle on my transom. All right, so I'm just going to fast forward through it. I got the block finished up. Okay, I got a nice angle on it. You guys see the angle right there? She's, you know, straight, flush all the way around. Everything's perfect. Actually turned out really nice. It's exactly the angle I needed on that block. All right, it gives my rudder a perfect standoff. Okay, so I'll back it up so you guys can see what it looks like in relation to the rest of the boat. All right, the nice thing about the standoff, now I can basically run my strut in line with the front keel of the boat. Okay, you guys see that? All right, we're going to be tuning this boat with strut position. Okay, negative angle will push the bow down, positive angle lift the bow up, and weight distribution. So this is going to be perfect, man. That's going to be perfect. It's 8 inches wide. The boat's 8 inches wide, you guys. 19 inches long. She's going to be a freaking beast. She's going to be super stable, I believe. I'm wondering if she's going to like bank over real hard in a turn or kind of stay flat in a turn like a catamaran. I'm thinking she's going to stay flat because of the 2 outside sponsons, you know. That's why I don't think we'll need turn fins, okay? You put turn fins on a boat to plant the boat. With those like outside sponsons there, she's actually going to be planted. So oh man, I'm excited to see how she runs. So I'm actually going to use this Loctite marine adhesive. Stand by that stuff. That's all I use for my through holes. Okay, so I'm gonna get this thing all Loctite into place, and we'll go on to the next step. Just make sure you put washers when you're mounting up your rudder or strut. Put washers backed up with your nut in the boat. So it's the next day. Okay, everything's cured out, the motor's locked in place, the epoxy's cured, got my strut rudder on. We're probably gonna have to cut this rudder off, cut it short, because it's really long for this little boat. Okay, that 19-inch boat, it doesn't need a rudder this long, so I'm gonna cut it on that line more than likely before we even take it out. Okay, I got everything lined up, dead nuts in line with my keel. Okay, she's perfect. All right, she's perfect. So I've actually installed a little piece of cable in my collet. All right, I'm gonna be running a 4mm shaft, 4mm flex cable. It's what come with the boat. That's what we're gonna run with the corresponding stuffing tube and liner. All right, got a bullet nut here, drive dog, and Teflon washer. Okay, so what I've actually done, I had this little short piece of cable that actually worked out perfect for what I'm doing here. I'm using that little piece of cable to find where I'm going to put my hole for my stuffing tube. Okay, this is going to be a submerged drive. All right, meaning the stuffing tube is going to exit the bottom of the boat and connect to our strut. Okay, not the transom like a surface drive. So I've got it marked out here about where I'm going to put my hole. Okay, you guys see I got the cable in there. It's kind of giving me a reference where the through hole is going to be. All right, so we're basically going to drill this out, okay, so we can mount up an epoxy and bend our stuffing tube. Okay. So I got my hole started. Okay, I just drilled straight down with my drill bit, flipped the boat over, okay, and started angling my drill until I couldn't angle it no more. Okay, now I'm going to use a file to get that extreme angle so we can get the stuffing tube in there, met up to the strut and the collet. Okay, you'll probably have to do quite a bit of filing, and you'll think you're not going to get it, or you think you overdid it or whatnot. But 9 times out of 10, you can use your file and get it filed out right. Okay, you want it lined up with your strut. It looks like mine's actually drilled over to the left a little bit, so I need to actually file some out the right side and get that angle, get a nice thin drawn out angle on the inside and down on the outside. Alright, so as you guys seen, I bent it with heat, and I actually did end up putting a spring on it. I actually put 2 springs, the same spring doubled up on my stuffing tube, okay, and I put my springs right where I was bending. Okay, now normally I don't use heat or spring with this Offshore Electrics or K&B round brass tube. It's thick. This tube is thin. It's like really thin. I've had issues with it in the past. I actually kinked off my first one. Okay, so luckily I had enough tube left I could use the rest of it here. So I didn't use heat, and I was just trying to bend it by hand. I kinked it. Okay, so I actually put a spring on there. You guys see me heat it up, and I put a towel over it. Okay, where my spring was, I felt where my spring was, that's where I wanted to bend, and I bent it. If you don't, you're going to kink it. Okay, if you get a kink in this stuff, it's going to crimp down. That kink's going to crimp down on your Teflon liner and return kinking down on your flex cable, causing some resistance. Resist equals heat. Okay, so I think I got it right. Okay, I can cut a little bit off the inside and get it slid up, a little bit more, but I think I got my bend perfect. Alright, just got a big hole to freaking deal with here. I want my bend to be a little bit farther in the boat, so I may cut a little bit off the end of this, maybe like I don't know, 5 millimeters or so, about right there. I'm gonna cut it right there. I was trying to keep the video short, man, but it's impossible. It's freaking impossible to keep these videos short, these build videos. It's freaking impossible. Alright, to save some time, I went ahead and cut my cable to length, put my drive dog on, make sure I have enough room for prop. My strut's in the highest position. As you guys seen, I got my stuffing tube cut to length. Okay, I've got my cable in the collet, and I'm going to throw my nut and bolt on, alright, to hold my strut in place while I epoxy this stuffing tube. What I'm going to use is fiberglass chopped strand mat. Okay, I just basically cut it up fine. Those of you who have seen my videos in the past, you guys know I use my scrap fiberglass hairs. I cut them up and I add them to my epoxy. Okay, basically for this build, I'm using this for a filler. Okay, a lot of times I use that to build up structure. Like if I'm epoxying my motor mount in or a servo mount, I'll cut up some chop strand for reinforcement, but today we're going to use it as a filler. Okay, just to fill in that little gap on that one side where I had actually drilled the whole offset previous, initially. I want to make sure my stuffing tube is about 4 millimeters away from the collet at its most extended position, and yeah, that should do it. All right, got my epoxy mixed up. I got to work fast. This is 5 minutes. All right, I'm gonna put half of my hairs in there. Let's see how thick it gets. I kind of need it thick because I got a big hole to fill, Oh yeah, that's perfect. That's gonna be perfect. Actually, when you add these hairs to your epoxy, it actually dries quicker. So you have to work fast, especially if it's 5 minutes. Ooh, that's too much, but that'll work. We'll get it down in the crevices, and then we'll flip it over. Put too much in there. do, whenever I'm done with my epoxy and it's like 75% set up, I'll actually take some alcohol, put it on my finger, and you can kind of smooth out the epoxy, okay, without it sticking to your finger. Just smooth it out real nice, give it like a nice finished look, so you don't have so much sanding to do when you're done. Okay, then I take that same alcohol, all right, and I just clean up my boat, make sure there's no epoxy anywhere, and this is your last chance to make sure everything's lined up with the keel of the boat. You know, make sure everything's in its rightful place. So I'm gonna turn the camera off so I can fine tune all that, make sure everything's on point. All right, so I'm not leaving anything off. All right, you guys, so I just took the motor out, replaced the water jacket, okay, and the motor's really far up here in the boat. So I got a couple little tricks that might help you get your motor in a tight place like this, okay. What I did was I took a battery strap and I wrapped it around my motor, all right, and I've already got one screw in. It was just too hard to do in video, but I used that strap to actually hold it in place while I was putting my collet on, okay. Kind of held it in place with that strap. To get this screw in right here, if you're using a flex driver like I am and your screw keeps falling off when you go to put it in the boat, I gotta put Loctite on the threads here. All right, what I like to do is actually put some Loctite on my bit. Put the Loctite and the bit in the end of your screw right here. You guys see that? All right, and just let it sit there for a second. That Loctite will harden up on your screw and hold that screw on your bit, okay. Just give it a few minutes. It might take a few minutes for it to actually, like, you know, grab. It's been about 3 or 4 minutes and it's on there. You see that? It's not coming off. So I'm just gonna push my motor over here, just kind of grab onto that strap, give me something to hold on to. I'm gonna take my bit off my flex driver. Hopefully I can get it in here for you. Alright, I got it started. It's still on my bit. Alright, you guys see that? Get it tight and break it off. All right, boom. Okay, little trick for you guys. So yeah, the boat's actually shaping up, you guys. Just kind of added some stickers, give it like a sporty look, you know. No rhyme or reason, just didn't want it to be plain Jane. I actually was thinking about painting the top red and keeping the bottom white. But I kind of like the way it looks with the stickers. I'll kind of go, you know, kind of theme it out like a little race boat, you know. Got the motor mounted up, as you guys seen. We got the water jacket on. We had to change the O-rings out. Got the collet on here. Stuffing tubes all cured out. All right, that turned out perfect. Okay, nice alignment to the collet there. The bottom looks pretty good. We need to kind of refine the shape of that epoxy. Just kind of sand it down a little bit. You know, more hydrodynamic. Let me get it set up on this flat top here. All right, you guys see there's the keel. All right, the keel and my stuffing tube and stingers in line with the keel. So, you know, that's basically what took me so long to get started on the boat. I wasn't sure how I wanted to do the strut. The strut's actually like an odd shaped strut. And I was thinking about buying a 4mm strut, a different style 4mm strut for the boat. But, you know, this will work. This will actually work. I actually kind of modified it so that it'll work. And quite a bit of modifications. But we got our rudder on here. We're definitely going to cut it off on that mark, maybe even a little bit higher. Got the flex cable cut to size. So I'll let you guys go, man. I hope this little bit of information I gave you guys helped you out with your build. Definitely check out Dead Ahead. He's got an email address. He's got a little website, and I'll link leave the links in the description, so definitely check them out. It's a one-of-a-kind boat, man. I'm really excited to get it on the water. Jeez, I don't know what took me so long to get started on this boat, man. Oh, man, it's cool. It's cool. So, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Big B with Ironclade RC.